Hello everyone, Justin here, and today we're going to draw an elephant's head. So let's just start with the top. It'll just be curved, and the size of the head will start to come down a bit and flare out just a little bit to where the eye sockets will be, like right about here. So let's just kind of indicate where the eyes are going to be, so it's inside of our line. And the head then will start to taper inward like that, and we'll just kind of give ourselves a rough idea of where the center line is. So then the edges of the head will start to taper out just a little bit here, because this is where the tusks are going to come out, and we can just make that a little bit darker now. And so the trunk continues as an extension of the head, and it's going to go down, tapering of course, and tapering even more to the tip, and let's have it start curling backwards. And we've got this line that extends this way to show that the tip of the trunk is starting to go back towards the back. Alright, so now the horns or tusks will flare out, and it'll be about half the height of this trunk. So let's just quickly draw that in and draw the other one as well. Just a couple tapered lines, and we can start to actually show the contour of the head and the trunk. And elephants of course have a lot of wrinkles, excess skin, so we'll just start showing those wrinkles and simultaneously show what the contour's gonna be like for the head and the trunk. So just some lines here, and initially this part is heading towards us, so you'll see a lot more curved line, more of a curved line, and then as it goes towards us, these lines are gonna flatten out, and they'll also get a little bit closer. So we'll start drawing them a little bit closer together, and don't make them too regular. There is some regularity to it, but you don't want it to look too stiff. So then as it goes here, the trunk starts to curve away from us and towards itself, so I'm curving the lines the opposite way. Now these lines then kind of show that there's a contour to the surface of the trunk. So when you look at the edges, it'll also be evident on the outline. So this line isn't going to be straight. It's not going to be a straight line. There will be some ridges to show that there are ridges on the trunk. And I'm starting to darken some of these lines to show that there is form, there's a texture to the trunk. So some shadows are going to be cast, and I'll just continue on down here, and I'll go ahead and erase some of our initial lines there. Alright, so I'm gonna just add some shadows on the left side of the trunk. And this helps to show the form, that it's not just a two-dimensional object. And maybe add some tonal values now, just so it's not just black and white. Now what I'll often do is I'll go ahead and do my initial layout lines and then do my shading afterwards. But I'm here and I feel good about things, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start doing some of the final, more or less final shading, putting in some tones, putting in the shadows. And this part, of course, will be in shadow. It'll be dark, so I'm making it fairly dark just by pushing harder with my pencil. Alright, let's go back up here. So add some more wrinkles here to the base of the horns or tusks. And add some detail to the tusks here. So here I'm gonna add some shading, but I'll use lines that basically go the length of the tusks. Add a little bit of dark tones here on the right side just to give it more form, and do the same on this side. Okay, I'm gonna add some cross lines here as well. Okay, so let's go back here to the head. I'm gonna add some more wrinkles. Now our lines here, the wrinkles are still gonna be curved this way just because the head now is starting to recede away from us. Okay. Alright, so let's draw the ears. The ears are gonna come off right at the top of the head, like so, and start to come down, and then the bottom will be right about here, just where the tusks take off from the head, and it'll be a line that comes out this way to meet the initial top line. And a lot of times the ears will be torn or kind of broken. It's not going to have a continuous line, so we'll just go ahead and add some tears and make it a little bit uneven. And I'm just going to go ahead and darken the outline here and start adding some shading here. And just add some lines just to show where the edge of the head is. And because the ears are towards the back of this part of the head, I'm just going to add some shading right now, just to separate the edge of the head from the ear. And the ear itself back here will be a touch darker. And I'm just going to roughly shade this in. This is just going to be a sketch, so I'm not trying to be all that realistic with it. And let's just kind of indicate now the eyes, and this is just kind of a blob of color or tone, darker value there. And add a little bit of shading here on the side of the head to show that this part's catching light, whereas the sides of the head starting to curve into the paper. And I'm just going to add some more lines, more wrinkles. Notice that I just sharpened my pencil, and because it's sharper, you also get like a darker tone. It's sharper and it stands out more. So continuing on, I'm gonna have the light mostly coming from the upper left, and so I'm gonna start adding some shading here on the right side of the head. Notice I initially draw a very light shadow line here where the light basically stops right here, and then the shadows start, and start indicating the eyes. And some more detail as far as wrinkles. And again, just like here, where we separated the head from the ears, that's further back, I'll do the same on the right side. So here's the edge of the head, and this whole area here on the right will be darker. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start making that darker, and I'm gonna try to make this area a bit darker than the shading or tone over here. And I'm really pushing hard, a lot of pressure, and I'll go ahead and make the ear over here dark as well. And I'll give this a sketchy feel by showing all the pencil marks, and I'm just roughly giving this whole ear a mid-tone all the way across. And I'm not going the same direction all the way through here. I'm changing directions just to kind of make it a little bit more even. And now I'm gonna go ahead and add some more detail lines, you know, like where the tears are. Vary the values here a little bit. And we're just about done. This was just a sketch. I'm darkening some of these outlines a little bit more just to make it a little bit more graphic. Some of the details we're getting lost there with the shading. Alright, experiment and try drawing this as well in pen just for practice. And I'm pretty much done. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you got something out of this video, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.